Michael Haneke is a director that has a gift for creating films that are rather harsh or too real for Hollywood. Whether they're about social or personal issues, his films are powerful works of art that in many instances leave us uncomfortable due to the bold level of realism. I have no doubt I will include more films on this channel, but the first to get a review is The Piano Teacher, released in 2001, taking place in Austria, but it's spoken in French. All you will hear about this film is how shocking and disturbing it is. However, judging from the reviews, it seems that most people were able to see past all of it and fall in love with the film. But even with all of these warnings and my experience with darker films, I wasn't ready for how shocking this film actually was. But quick disclaimer, I have not read the book. All of my opinions, my overall analysis of this video is going to go purely off of the film, just to avoid any confusion. But to those of you who have read the novel, please let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of it and how it's different from the film. I really am curious to know. But anyways, that's enough of an intro. Let's waste no more time and get on with the review. The story is all about this woman right here, Erika Kahut, who is a piano teacher at a conservatory in Austria. On the outside, this woman seems normal. In fact, I would say more polished and well put together than the average person. She has a successful career, and she appears to keep herself in good shape. Her facial expressions throughout the film are usually plain or apathetic, so at first view we wouldn't assume that much of her thoughts are consumed by anxiety or she's fantasizing about something that she would rather have rather than what she already does have at the moment. But looks can be deceiving, and Erika is a woman who is very lonely and sexually repressed. There is a lot of talk about her personality, but it's one thing to view her face and it's a total shift once Erika opens her mouth. But before we delve into her psyche, let's look at the type of life she lives and the people she encounters in it during the film. Erika is single, living with her mother. Now that seems fine. Lots of people continue living with their parents, especially after one passes away and they want to keep company. But they have such a weird and toxic mother and daughter relationship. Her mother, who may I add we never learn her name, is very controlling of Erika. She's always on her case, needing to know where she is all the time. She's on her case about her money, as if it's her right to tell her what she could spend it on. And it seems she's only okay with her going out if it's related to work. Anything else, she must come straight home or only go out with her. But the strangest thing is that they share the same bed. And no, it's not a one-bedroom apartment. Erika does have her own room, but they still sleep together, and let's just say some weird things happen in it. They do not get along. They've just gotten used to each other and the nuisances they bring. They're always speaking to each other in a derogatory manner, and they have no problem getting into a fight to hash things out. Their bizarre and torn up relationship is how we're thrown into the film, with no context, so right off the bat you will be weirded out and uncomfortable. Now that's Erika's miserable home life. Let's now take a dive into her work life. Is there anything special about that? This is how we find out what Erika is like to the outer world in general. She's a very gifted musician and instructor, but my goodness, she is a bitch. No, she doesn't yell at you, she won't hit you or kick you out of her course. It's how she talks to people, very cold and condescending. To anyone who's a fan of Whiplash and was blown away by J.K. Simmons' performance, you need to take a look at Isabelle Huppert's job here. This one is way crazier. Now I know teachers have to be tough and perhaps harsh to ensure students perform at the highest caliber and make no mistakes. But whether she's given a lesson or not, when she interacts with her students, you will never hear her say anything good. So it's not really a matter that she just wants them to try harder. It's like she's repulsed at how they can't get something right, or she just views them as scum of the earth beneath the soles of her feet. The drive in these kids are more pushed by their parents or themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't want any of them to ever reach her level and would chase the talented ones away just to be sure of it. So Erika's professional life doesn't seem to be much of a happier story, but at least she's in more control, right? In my opinion, that doesn't mean much, because this is just my opinion. I sense a dissatisfaction from her being a teacher, and her continuing into this profession seems more like a cover-up to make her mother happy and get her off her back. Now let's complete Erika's lifestyle by taking one final dive into her secret and personal life. As I mentioned earlier, her mother does not permit her to do or spend anything unless she's accompanying Erika or is work related. But in this secret life, Erika just lets herself out, usually buying clothes with money she isn't allowed to spend, or the outfits are too skanky for her mommy's approval. If it isn't Erika satisfying her crave to have freedom and buy what she wants, then she's trying to satisfy her sexual needs. And no, she isn't going to bars or clubs looking to socialize and mingle. She has more far out cravings, such as going to a sex shop and renting out a private room to watch dirty movies, all the while she indulges on some of the gifts other people left behind. Yes, this woman is portrayed in a strange light, but when it comes to sexuality, I really doubt she's more unorthodox than most adults in real life. So, this is Erica. The film only cares about her. There are no side plots or additional scenes that do not include Erica. And while we get ample time to see what her life is like, the main point of the story doesn't take off until we meet this guy named Walter. He's this young, good-looking man who also has talent and a liking of music. They meet at this private recital where Walter is immediately entranced by Erica. And with her being so depraved, one would assume there'd be this spark amongst them, right? Well, sort of. Erica gives Walter the cold shoulder and tries to close out whatever small talk he attempts to bring up. But deep down she is flattered by his admiration and is also interested in him. But it seems like she has no heart and doesn't know how to respond to these emotions, so she just shuts him out instead. As the film moves on, you realize Erica is not this hollow vessel with no feelings, but rather she's this trapped woman filled with desires, who doesn't know how to escape from being imprisoned behind the mask of a pretentious high-class artist, who needs to play the role of professional that is above common vulgar cravings of sex and simple material items. This film truly puzzles me, because not a whole lot happens in this 2-hour plus film, yet I was so entertained. I can quickly explain everything that happens, but what makes the scenes, the character interactions so detailed is how the film really slows down the moment to accentuate the emotions that are being felt. And with those elongated moments, you will feel the sensation of awkwardness and uncomfortability, because for the most part, the deepest conversations revolve around Erica's desires, no matter how obscene they are. This is a huge factor to making the film so disturbing, because there is no filter as to what is on Erica's mind and the words she lets out. This is not your typical erotic drama. In a more conventional film, the weirdness would probably just be the age difference between Erica and Walter, or the fact that he is a student and she's a teacher. But that's actually the most normal thing they share. And when Erica's alone is when things really get out of hand. Let me give you a couple examples as to what I'm talking about. Besides watching dirty films and getting whiffs of other people's leftovers, she will also inflict pain on herself. Like this foul scene of Erica taking a blade and cutting herself down there. This takes a moment. We get plenty of time to watch the blood drip down. This scene with no music and having this casual tone as if nothing wrong is happening, this is common stuff, but it's private, only to be shared with a few if any people. So it's a lot to take in to see someone let it all out so openly with no shame and seek to fulfill it. These are things we would be embarrassed about if they were to be revealed. This stuff helps make the film entertaining. Whether you like it or not, sex makes for a stimulating conversation. And when we get the opportunity to see somebody like Erica revealing her innermost yearnings, it has you wanting to see what's next. These wantings that would be shameful for us to disclose escalate the shock when they go from just desires to actual reality. And this is how we can get back to Erica and Walter's connection. Now, ever since that private recital, Erica is what's occupied Walter's mind the most. Her coldness only drew him closer, and Walter even manages to get Erica to be his personal instructor after blowing everyone away with his performance at a tryout. At this point, her home life and her work life begin to lose importance, as her attraction towards Walter and her fear of it take her over. It takes her so far that when she sees Walter show the slightest bit of attention to another girl, she ends up snapping. She goes to find her coat, puts broken glass in the pocket, and then plays the waiting game for the fun to begin. And just to make it all the more messed up, this is the driving force that will finally lead Walter and Erica together. It's the perfect love story. In this film, the sex scenes are few, but each one is really long. Long shots of just watching these two lovebirds unleashing what they've been holding in. And boy, are they uncomfortable, and a bit comical. You know, in lots of films, a sex scene would just be to stimulate the appetite or emphasize a connection between two people. Here it's nothing like that. It was only to make it seem realistic by having them talk a lot. They make mistakes by doing things that the other person doesn't like. Sometimes they have to give direction so the other person can do something properly. And in this first love scene between Walter and Erica, they are in a public bathroom where anyone can walk in. These sex scenes are not bad, they're just unusual. I've watched my fair share of them in all types of films. But here's to explore the mind of a sexually repressed woman and how she reacts when her lust is finally matched. This is one of the most realistic depictions of sex that I've ever seen. When you have gone a long time without it, or when you're a novice, there's going to be awkward moments, uncertainty, and a bit of fear, and they replicate those sentiments so true to life that hits at home trend makes the film fascinating to watch. Now, to make this new relationship they have interesting, Erica says she will give Walter a letter. Inside of it will contain everything she wants Walter to do to her and her to do unto him. And this story is all about desire, how crazy it drives us, just how far one's desires can go, and the miserable life you are guaranteed when you suppress yourself from them. In Erica's case, it's the people around her that keep her from gratifying her longings. All else feels more like something to complete the picture. even the characters, with the exception of Erica's mother and Walter. Erica is so consumed by wanting to let her inner self out, her long and successful career as a pianist and professor seems almost worthless to her. Her own mother, which by the looks of it is the only person she has in her life, just also happens to be the villain to her story. They're not compatible, yet they must live with each other, always be in each other's business. And if the mother was dead, I doubt Erica would hesitate to leave all of this behind just to be with Walter and be her true self. No worry of self-image, no worry about what other people want, no guilt for allowing carnal desires to shape what life decisions she makes from that point on. After enough time of Walter and Erica not being able to do what they want, Walter eventually follows Erica home and pretty much forces himself in. Here we finally learn what was written in that letter. And I was very curious because Erica's character when I first started watching, to me seemed like a cold-hearted, emotionless, boring, limp woman. Well, let's get a taste of what she wrote down.
Et en plus, enfonce-moi dans la bouche des vieux bacs que j'aurais préparés. Enfonce-les si fort que je ne puisse plus émettre le moindre son. Ensuite, enlève le bâillon, s'il te plaît, et assis-toi sur ma figure et donne-moi des coups de poing dans l'estomac pour m'obliger à t'enfoncer ma langue dans le derrière.
You know how earlier I called her an emotionless, cold-hearted, boring, limp woman? I'll take back the boring part. This is obviously a lot for Walter to process. No one would be ready to read such a thing. But does Walter really want this? Well, if you want to know, here are a few clips to make his stance very clear how he feels about the letter and his new perception of Erica.
Je dois prendre ça au sérieux? Tu veux une gifle? Ça va ouvrir quoi pour moi tout ça? Peut-être que tu pourrais ouvrir ta bouche si cultivée et dire quelque chose sur cette merde. Si tu veux me frapper, frappe-moi. Tu veux quand même pas me salir les mains. Des gens comme toi, on ne touche même pas avec des gants. À présent, tu me répugnes. Merde.
In my opinion, the film gets really good at Walter's rejection because everything just shifts. Everything leading up to this, it felt like Erica was always a stronger character, through her cold-blooded manner of speaking, aggressive behavior when things didn't go her way, but here she seems defeated and now at the whim of Walter. Walter was the one who was putting more effort. He followed her around, got himself into her class, and begged for them to be together, and now he is the one that's repulsed. Erica will do anything to have him. She'll even deny everything she asked for on the note. She just wants his love, his affection, and his validation. This turn of narrative is pretty cruel, though it is a bit tough to sympathize for her since she was a bitch to him leading up to this. It's a classic case of reaping what you sow, and what once seemed like Erica shutting out the world and being callous to those in it, it's now her who is shunned by the world, and the means of her existence are living with her mother, whom she can't stand, and continuing with her teaching, which she doesn't really seem to care for if she's willing to put it all at risk by being with a student. Her desires or her inability to satisfy them seems to have destroyed her life. Erica's now become this pathetic person. She no longer hides for what she is, and her mother will let her know just how disappointed she is. Erica continues to be occupied by things that are now irrelevant to her, and only wants to rekindle what she could have had with Walter, and that's why she pursues him again. She does this in a very embarrassing manner, begging for him to accept her again. Walter at this point is only directed for desire of sex. There is no more fascination of that mysterious high-class woman he once had. There is no more thrill of anticipation or curiosity as to what pleasures he may share with Erica. He sees her as just below him and will only engage to release a personal urge, not fulfill a desire he has. And this second sex scene is more vile than the first. It deals with so much begging, so much forcing upon. It's brimming with negative emotions. It's sad to see Erica fall so hard for a guy she doesn't really know, and she's not emotionally capable to handle rejection. But he just wants to be done with her. He has so many options. His whole life is still ahead of him, and he comes from a very well-off family. He doesn't need Erica. He was just curious, and now he sees her as scum and a thorn on his side that he must get rid of. The third and final sex scene is the most disturbing of them all, because Walter has become overwhelmed for how Erica just will not leave him alone, and how sick he feels knowing that he did it with her. Walter wants to humiliate Erica, make sure she never puts herself up there like how she used to. He decides to give her some of the things she asked for in the letter, such as a beating, let her know how absurd her desires are, that she isn't even capable of enjoying them, and that they are degrading. Walter's transformation from that kind and charming boy that was very invested in Erica to this more mature and insolent attitude type of guy is the most underrated element of the film. He is what Erica desires more than anything, but he is also her ultimate downfall. her hardest reality check, and is someone she is not worthy of. But he gives her one last fucking. That is so distasteful, so unsettling as we see him filled with anger and Erica just lies there motionless. As she lays there, Erica learns how she isn't such hot shit, that she's actually pretty terrible at sex, and she sees her for herself for what she is, and is better off just living life as a pet to her mother who watches her every step. Forever single. This film has the perfect ending, because after that irrational sex scene, everyone around Erica has moved on. She's still harmed externally and internally from what happened with Walter, but it's her problem only, so she must bottle it up and play the role of caring daughter and warming professor of music. All the while she gets to see that Walter has already moved on from what they had and is happy without her. In the meantime, she yet mourns for that loss and what she still does not have. This is definitely an unpleasant story and hard to watch in lots of parts, but Erica is truly a fascinating character. All of her struggles and relationships make for a powerful story that is worth stomaching up and sitting through. Erica's not an improbable person. I know stories like her are very common, with being sexually repressed and struggling with living life being something you don't want to be. Isabelle Huppert did her part so well here, and I have to ask, how the fuck did she not get at least an Oscar nomination for this? Who actually did it better that year? Walter and the mother were both excellent as well. There was something deeply wrong with all three, and their ties to one another augmented the disturbing psyche in each of them. If you love character study type of films, then you can't go wrong here. Despite how gut-wrenching this film can be, I can't deny it is very beautiful. So many great shots. I love how drawn out these emotional scenes are. They are unfiltered and so realistic. But what can really win your heart over, if not the characters, is the music itself. You could be totally repulsed by a moment in the film and see your mind put to ease when a satisfying segment of someone playing music comes on. These performances from either Erica, Walter, or any other person is the score of the film itself. Even in the post-credits after we just saw Erica go completely psycho, there is no sound, which makes it all the more uncomfortable. It's a dreadful narrative wrapped into a well-constructed plot that is beautifully displayed in film. I underestimated how harsh the film is, more so because I was expecting the sexual repression to be more outlandish and comical. But it was legit to me. I don't have any knowledge of the novel itself, but this feels like a true story because Erica's flaws and insecurities were so human. It's the realism itself that's disturbing, and that's why I love the film so much. This is a damn good film that needs to be more popular in the United States. I give this an 8.5 out of 10. It was a very fast 2-hour plus film for something that was so simple yet effective. Anyways guys, that's the end of this video right here. Really hope you enjoyed the review to the fullest extent, and to those of you who have yet to watch it, highly recommend it. Also, if you don't mind hitting the like button and commenting down below, it really helps out the channel, and of course I'm always down to hear your guys' opinions in the comments section. They mean the world to me, so please don't be shy. Again, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, take care, and I'll see you guys next time.